Yeah. So good afternoon, LinkedIn family, and to all my friends and connections that have been following my post for a while now. This is David Larry Messon, live on this quick session that we'll be having between now and say next 1 hour. We should be discussing this session. I'm glad to be on this session today, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to add some value. Um, Oftentimes people ask the question, what does it really mean to build an MVP? What do I need to do with regards to MVP? What does it really mean? What is MVP? Why is it important for me to build an MVP and all of that? So I am presenting or holding this session to sort of address this, and most importantly to share some valuable insight with regards to what it really means to build an MVP. Um, and again, this session is sort of focused on aspiring and early stage founders because that's my own forte, and that is what I'm mostly interested. I mean, that's a segment of audience that I'm sort of interested in. That doesn't mean I don't play with other the other segment of entrepreneurs, but I'm more passionate about founders in this at the bottom of the pyramid, simply because a lot of them do not have the resources to sort of build their MVP, and at the same time, um, the experience and the expertise needed to sort of you know make their MVPs or their startup ideas presentable to investors. And this is where I operate largely as a startup builder. Um, I would like to know if you are live on this session. I'd like you to make a comment. Just tell us where you're watching from or you're participating from, and then we can begin this session fully. Thank you very much. Okay, so a lot of people ask, what can I do with an MVP? What does it mean to be an MVP again? So MVP means minimum viable product, and just very quickly, just before I begin the session proper, you know, there are four cardinal points that I often say that your MVP, will position you for, or position you as a founder for. One, it enables you to start really very fast. So oftentimes, it's not you mustn't wait. You must not wait until you build a full product. So the reason why you need an MVP basically is one, it allows you to start fast. So once you get the idea, you've gone through an initiation, process and the validation, or sort of, like a research process, and you know the problem you want to solve, and then you've sort of built like design like a product scoping document, hit the market, go quickly build, go to development very quickly, and this will, it means you have to start fast. It allows you to save money. It allows you to change the concept as you are building. So when you build a small feature, and then you can see how your users are sort of responding you know, to what you have built at that initial phase. It allows you to know, oh, see, my users are not responding properly. It seems I need to tweak this product in this manner to be able to sort of, capture my audience very quickly. So it allows you to change the concept real very fast to be able to fit into users' needs. And then it also allows you to find your right audience. Now, this is one part that is very important as a founder. You need to understand that you are dealing with users, and your users, let's call them your audience here. So your audience basically are consuming or interacting with your product with different mindsets and at different need points. So you need to study, you need to learn and understand what it is that they are, expressing or experiencing while they are interacting with your product, so that you'll be able to say, oh, this is my actual ideal audience. And one reason why MVP is also important at this phase is because it allows you to know your ideal audience, your ideal users, and these users, you know, can now be further segmented and say, oh, let us create something special for this type of user. This is how they are interacting with this product, or this type of user, this is how they are interacting with this product, and all of that. You get, so it's important for you to sort of note that as a founder. So first, hold on to those four reasons why I think that you need an MVP. So we go straight into the presentation. So building an MVP is often $1 million question. A lot of people ask, and a lot of people ask. I often will say that if we find ourselves building something that nobody wanted, I mean, the most embarrassing thing as a founder is for you to build a product that nobody wanted, which is why building an MVP is important so that you can change very quickly, you can save money, start fast, and you can also change the concept. So you see why I had to start with the first conversation of your MVP allows you to save money, it allows you to start really very fast, it allows you to find your audience, it allows you to also change the concept very quickly. So, because you don't want to build a full-fledged product that people do not like, that people don't want to interact with, that you're going to waste a lot of money, or you would have wasted so much money in building and all of that. So that is key for you to know that you don't want to build a product that nobody really likes. So the main reason why startups fail is that they don't have ideas or build product that meet customers' needs. You need to be able to turn your product and measure how customers respond to it in order to learn as fast as possible, like I've mentioned. The quicker you can test your assumptions, the quicker you can iterate and improve your product. So building an MVP is important for you to know that okay. Sorry, network. I believe. So are we together? Are we together? Okay. So talking about MVP, I'd like to know if we are still together, guys. I am presenting from StreamYard, so I'd like to get your quick feedback. All right. Thank you. Thank you for this feedback, Oladimiji Adeleye. Oh, bro, thank you so much for that feedback. I appreciate it, man. It's been a while. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay. All right. So, talking about your MVP, your minimum viable product, as a founder or an aspiring early stage founder, it's quite important for you to know that turning your ideas into a product require that you begin to you measure, you build, you measure, and you learn what I call the BML. So while you are building, it's important for you to be measuring not just your performance with how your users are interacting with your product, but also see areas where you can improve your product, see where you can change your product, see how you can attain product market fit, or most importantly, see what your product is looking like in terms of scalability. If 5 users are on your product at that point, see the time in which your the users move from 5 to 10, from 10 to 15, in order for you to know the level of interest of your user. So the reason why you have to start building your MVP or building an MVP really is because you want to be able to establish a simple fact that there are users who need your solution, and that your solution is practically solving a problem that the users are experiencing. So, ability to pay attention to all of this kind of helps you to further improve the product. And not just that, even allows you to know what budgets you need, resources you need to further keep building that, that product sort of. So it's quite important for you to pay attention to that as an aspiring founder. So, what are the first signs of failure when it comes to building your MVP? Too many startups begin with an idea for a product that they think people want. They then spend months, sometimes years, perfecting that product without ever showing the product to the prospective customer. This is the first sign that you are likely failing as a founder. So, you see, so as a founder, you don't spend so much time building your product thinking that, hey, man, what I'm building right now it's just so perfect for the user, and you have not in any way interacted with your user or even had a conversation with your user or get that product at its minimum level to the users to experience. Then trust me, at that point you started failing. And the moment you are building that product on this kind of concept, you will begin to lose money, you lose a lot of time, you're going to waste so much resources, and most importantly, you will see that you're going to be zapping so much of your energy trying to build a product that nobody really wants, that you cannot particularly measure how that product can scale or how it can even improve, and that kind of puts you in the dark as a founder. So, as a founder trying to delve into an ecosystem where you know that you are going to be interacting with investors, your users form an important part of your product building or your product build. It forms an important part. So, you must always put the users on top of your development at any given point as you are building your MVP. You understand? And again, note that you are not building a full product when you are starting out as a founder. You shouldn't even build a full product from the beginning. What you should do really is to pick the feature that you know that directly engages and provides the core of your value to the user, and then build that feature and take it straight to the user. And as you begin to you know see how they are interacting with our product, you are able to keep adding more things and making it happen. And an example to that is that you have a donut, and that donut, you made it first with just flowers without having to put all the condiments and all of those things right on top. But if you notice, in fact, a perfect example is this. When you go to Cold Stone, for those of us who are in Nigeria, or of course, Cold Stone is almost everywhere. So if you go to Cold Stone and you just want ice cream, for example, they will give you just the ice cream. But you will see the lady asking you, do you want chocolate? Do you want this? Do you want that? All of those things are improvement upon the ice cream. But the ice cream is the core of the product. And I'm sure that was how they started. They started with just ice cream. And then they realized that, this ice cream can serve different people at different levels based on different tastes and all of that. So they ask you strawberry or chocolate. Now, when they ask you strawberry or chocolate, the core of that product is still ice cream, which means that the ice cream is the MVP of that product. But strawberry, chocolate, and every other thing on top of it is an improvement upon that product, which means that they understood that everybody that wants to buy their product first wants to take ice cream. Then they began to segment, that product or the users based on their interest or their desires or how they want this product, served to them. So when you are building your product, pick the most important feature that connects users directly to the value, the solution that you are offering them, and then upon that you begin to, sort of build. So, launching an MVP, the goal of a pre-launch startup is extremely simple. Launch quickly. Now, take note, you must learn to launch very quickly. Don't wait for too long, because the truth is that the moment that idea hits you, and I've had that experience with a lot of people who say, you know what, build for us this product, and then we are building, and then they come and say, add this to this product. And then I say, no, we shouldn't. Let's go to market with what you have right now. I say, no, 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 no. This is how we want it to be. This is how, and then we waste so much time trying to build a product that at the end of the day, you will still probably have to take a lot of things out because of how audience or your users are interacting with this, product. So it's important for you to launch very quickly, go to market very quickly, even if you have to, launch the product with as simple as a Google form, as an Instagram handle. Just launch quickly. Recently, a startup raised a startup, started a startup that raised funds, just started from Instagram, and they moved from Instagram to becoming a full-fledged startup. Why? That Instagram that they were selling from was their MVP, but there is a bigger vision to keep improving that product to the point where they now have a physical, a proper tech product, and are able to now position to get investment. So one thing your MVP does for you is to allow you to, you know, relate with your users better. You can build, measure what is going on, and also learn very quickly. But beyond that, it also allows investors to kind of take interest in what you are building, and they could see your trajectory and see that, oh, see, you build something, but this is the big picture. And from this big picture, you build this. Oh, they'll say, okay, take this money and see how you can improve the product, from the small picture that you have created from the bigger picture. And then let us see how you can scale. But then, and again, also, when you are building your product, after you build your MVP, how you will know that your MVP can scale is where you begin to have users and you see the rate at which they are growing. So when you see the rate, your growth rate, you are able to use that as a yardstick to sort of, determine your next steps. So people ask, what is an MVP? So your MVP is a minimum viable product, and that you launch, to predict your next move. So what does MVP help you to do? It makes you to make an early market entry, which leads to a competitive advantage, thereby saving money, like I earlier mentioned. It allows you to test the idea with actual users to check whether the product is able to solve their problems efficiently. Another thing it does for you is that it helps you to work effectively towards improving the concept and developing a full product that resonates with user feedback and suggestions. It also enables you to learn and grow very quickly. So as a founder, building your MVP allows you to learn and grow, very quickly. So the MVP, the product in its fastest, smallest, and least version. So what does it provide? What value does our startup offer? So these are key questions that you should ask as a founder when building your MVP. What value does our startup offer to its users? How can it benefit from them? How can they benefit from it? Why would they buy the product? MVPs also allow businesses to minimize errors in the development process using the MVP methodology, which of course I will share as we move on. And then it also enables you to have a clear understanding of project requirements, enables the team to make trade-offs between product performance and other elements such as cost, time, and market and project risk. Now, I always tell founders that it's important for you to develop an MVP scope document when you're building your MVP. And what is an MVP scope document? It's more or less like your product scoping, to be able to build your product. Now, the MVP scope document kind of gives you like a roadmap to how you will identify the problem you're trying to solve and identify the solution that solves that problem. And then also enables you to understand the market that you are getting into, more so for the fact that you will be able to have like who is responsible for what, how much budget, what is the cost. It also enables you to have like a clear roadmap to how that project will be further implemented. And there are three things that you need to put into perspective when you are developing your MVP scope document. One, I call it identify. A scope document it's like the holy grail for your MVP. Sort of, it is a documented guideline of project requirements, the features, deliverables, timelines, allocation of resources, yes, as well as reviews and approval process. So now, like I said, it's like your holy grail for MVP. It's like the core of your MVP. It serves like your guide to how you will move from the point where the ideation happens to the point where you will take the MVP to market, and you'll be able to know how many developers you even want on the project and all of that. So another thing is control. You sort of prepare, a comprehensive document that currently states the purpose, and the MVP, because every MVP you build must have a purpose. It's important for you to know the purpose. So if you are building a small feature from an entire goal, you should be able to, document the reason why you are building that part of the product and what you want it to achieve for you as a founder. With that in mind, it kind of positions, the mind of everybody working on that product at that particular point in time to know what is needed and how to go about it, and all effort and energy is sort of centralized towards that particular feature, and you are able to quickly build. You are also able to quickly measure, the responses of your users, so that what you have built, the MVP, and also enables you to learn and improve. So the learning in itself is the part where you take the feedback you get from your users and you implement it as solutions, further solutions to improve the product for your users. So another thing you need to put into consideration when developing your MVP scope document is you need to share it with everyone. Like I said, share it with everyone so that everybody gets to have control of the project. So I call that to prevent, in order to prevent any sort of eventualities that can stop the project or any sort of mess ups that can make the project sort of halt. It's important for you to note that. Um, so there's a simple methodology that a lot of founders who are experienced use, and I think that is something that you need to also pay attention to. So one is called the simple SIMPLE, the simple methodology. It helps you to test, design, deliver, and validate your idea. You get, and also enable you to minimize errors. So first is um, first from the simple is 1 minute. Okay. So we have start with your market research. It's important for you to start with your market research. Two, you need to also ideate on value addition. And then three, you need to map out user flow. Four, you need to prioritize your MVP features. Now, this is where you pick the most important features, second most important, the third most important, the fourth most important. So you see that at the end of the day, you are actually implementing. But what is key is that you are more practically, launching these things one after the other, which means that the first part of the feature comes out, the second part of the feature comes out, the third part of the feature comes out, the fourth part of the feature comes out, and all of that. But you are also taking all of the feedback to determine if the second part of the features of your product, will make sense or will not make sense. Sometimes you may even have to shuffle, the features that you have prioritized. But in shuffling that, you are able to take first feedback to say, oh, from the feedback we have gotten from the users, this is what we think, or this is what we are seeing evidently that should be the next phase of this project. Then the fifth is launch. You launch very quickly, and then E is that you exercise your BML, which is you build, you measure, and then you learn. So the learning is what you should actually pick from this. You learn a lot, and then you move forward very quickly. So another thing we need to pay attention to is that startups scale and grow properly 20 times faster than those who scale prematurely. And why? It's because those who scale quickly have built an MVP. And the reason for that is because as they are building, they are learning. As they are building, they are learning, and it's helping them to sort of improve the product and then grow forward from there. So 5 steps to launching your MVP. you know, the first goal of a pre-launch startup is to build and launch quickly. Second is focus on building and launching extremely limited functionalities. I've mentioned that. The third most important thing is to get some initial customers. This is very important. They could be your friends, they could be your family. Just get people to test your product and then see if they are. Another thing you need to pay attention to is see how repeat sales is happening. Now, don't focus on the sales. Focus on the product. Are people coming back? How many times are they coming back on this to this particular MVP that we put out there? And what is their response like? So you need to check all of that. It's not just only when you acquire users, but also when you monitor how they are interacting with the product or the MVP or that minimal feature, regularly, and that will sort of help you to determine what happens next. So, what is your typical journey for an MVP? Now, one is idea to product. So, you have an idea, you need to move it from idea to product. Now, how do you move an idea to product? First, your idea is a substantiated thought. And from that substantiated thought, you are able to identify a specific problem that idea or that solution that you have developed kind of solves. And then from there, you move on to initiation. The initiation is the part where you do your research, apply your simple method. You start your market research, and then you try to validate that market. You analyze the market. You even analyze your product. Then you also analyze, the product scoping document in itself to be able to determine how you think that product should be delivered. And if you take, you see there are different ways to deliver a particular solution. Take for example, if you look at the fintech space right now, you will see that there are several fintech solutions doing different things, but they are all called fintech because in their analysis stage, you see that they decide to product scope to fit or to solve a specific problem in that financial sector. So it's something that you need to also, pay attention to or kind of adopt. Then the next is that you design your UI and your UX. It's important for you to design, the prototype of your product. And with that in mind, it gives you like an architecture of how, a customer journey will take place from the moment they download your mobile app or maybe they visit your website. What happens? What is the first thing that they will do? So all of this kind of is captured in your design, and then you move on to development. And this is the part where you do your software engineering. You bring, the kind of stack that is needed to build your project and all of that. Then of course, after development, you have to go on to testing. Well, a lot of people call beta testing. So you do your beta testing with a few people, and then you move on from there to getting more users and seeing how they're interacting with the product. And you take all of your feedback and use that to now determine your next stage of actual production. What I mean by actual production at this stage is that this is where you now kind of consolidate upon the experiences of your users to be able to build the product further or to add your prioritized features, you understand, to what you have built initially. So that means that once you are done with testing and you see how the feedback is, and you also can scale the number of users times 10, let us say from 10 to 100, for example, you move into quick production, and then the production part is the part is where you sort of consolidate upon the initial feature you build. Second is to look how you can add another feature, and then you move on to adding more and more feature until you have a fuller product. And of course, you cannot build a tech solution without maintaining it. So you continue to maintain the product itself. You also maintain your users, because if you don't maintain your users, what happens next? You're going to lose them. So, and what I mean by maintaining them is that ensure that you take a lot of feedback from them, and also see how you take their experience into customer experience into cognizance, and see how you can as well retain them. So what is going to be your retention strategy? All of these things are key at this point. So there are 19-point checklist to build an MVP. One, you must identify the business need. Two, ensure the entire team is behind the approach. Three, perform market research. Four, identify the target audience. Five, discover how product will solve the problems faced by the users. Six, collect all user journey and task into a single reference product, into a single reference. So you have a product backlog. Seven, prioritize the task to identify what will be part of the MVP. Now, if you follow this 19-point checklist to build your MVP, trust me, there's no way you're going to make any mistake. And that's the simple fact when it comes to building your MVP. So, eight, you identify a development team to build your MVP. Then, nine, you decide the tech stack with the development team. 10, confirm the budget. 11, validate the information architecture of your MVP before starting work. 12, use wireframes and prototype to plan. 13, enforce branding style guidelines. This is important. 14, ensure the MVP build addresses compliance and security. 15, stay involved during development. Don't give your project to a tech team and go and sleep. Be involved in the process, in the building process, because it is your baby. It is your product. And if you are building it at the MVP stage, it's important for you to be part of it so that you can even get into a eureka moment at that point, and you have the right to change the concept at that point because it's still in its in a fetus level, and you should be able to now see, because you are involved, you'll be able to find more opportunity or more ideas that can kind of fleshing it up at that point, are still at a minimal feature point. Then 16, you launch your MVP. 17, identify and track the metrics that define success or failure of your product. This is very important as well, and that is what I categorize under you measure and you learn. And then 18, take user feedback. 19, implement learning and test. I'm going to share this slide on my timeline, and you'll be able to have more access to it. So I don't know if you have any questions for me, really, but then First Founders is in the business of building MVPs for founders. So if you're an aspiring founder or you are an early stage founder, and you think that you have an idea that can change the world, why not? We are here for you. Talk to first founders, and we'll be able to help you. Solve. This help you partner with you to build an interesting product that we believe very strongly that we will be able to go do well in the marketplace. So how we work, we basically have various programs that we run, but more practically, we build our own products where we hire founders to lead them for 20% equity in our startups. Then, of course, we also build co-owned product with independent founders and take between 15%. And it depends on the size of your project basically. And of course, if you want us to just build for you, we can build for you. What that means is that you don't need to have money, to work with us. All you just need is a very beautiful idea, and we'll be able to do something no matter how small. But of course, if you have your money, we can also build for you. So we have various programs that that we announce in the course of the year that you can participate in to be able to build any of your ideas. So one of these is the Venture Boot program, which currently is has about 4 founders that we are building their product. And of course, we're going to do the next announcement sometime in August, where you can apply with your idea. We will select the best 10 ideas that we will build, and takes just a little equity. You don't have to bring any money. All you just need to do is to bring your ideas. Yeah. So uh, I'm hoping that this short presentation made some sense to you. I'd like to get your feedback, and then certainly we will be here again to discuss more interesting topics that will help aspiring and early stage founders in their journey to building great product. Um, my name is David Emerson, and thank you so much. I'll be here for another 10 minutes to get feedbacks. If you have questions, I'll be willing to answer those questions now. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, Samuel. Thank you. Thank you, Limuel. This sounds almost too good to be true. Thank you for that feedback. So, what do you mean? You mean the presentation or how first founders work? Yeah, Ngozi Wabuize, thank you very much. Joining from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you. Um, um, all right, so I want to believe there is no question. So, let's call this a day. Thank you. You can always message me if you have any questions for your MVP build. Do have a nice day, and we talk again soon. Bye bye.